Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much again for joining us. We're very excited to continue this incredible series. Over the last 5 weeks, we've had over 300 different entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs join us here as we grow in the speaker series. And you know what else has grown? We're now giving away almost over $10,000 to aspiring entrepreneurs here in our community. Now, these are people that are looking to start a small business, like maybe the Spaghetti Shack, my man. Maybe somebody's looking at getting started with their own apparel company. All kinds of ideas. We've heard from incredible people within this community that are looking to do some really cool things through this pandemic as they continue to shift where their life is headed. So we appreciate each and every one of you. Over 300 have joined us. So tonight, we're really excited. We look back on the past 5 weeks. We talk about the origin of State 48. We heard Nicholas's story, Mike's story, and how State 48s came to be. We've heard from incredible leaders like Dom over at Gila River, talking about how you continue to get marketing and what was it about, like creating retention. And when you talk about retention, that's the most scary, I think the scariest part about saying I'm going to be an entrepreneur. How do I get somebody to be a fan, but then to be that raving fan? When State 48 first started and we all loved the logo became the brand, and then the brand has evolved to collaborations. And you're looking at a cool collaboration team from where I work. We've got the folks at EIC who are an incredible partner at State 48. They've got their collaborative t-shirt, the Suns, the Coyotes, and so many others. And as this brand grows, we have that retention rate where, because of all of you, this brand grows because it's our brand. It's not Nicholas's or Mike's, it's this community's. And that's why the speaker series has been so fruitful, because our partners have stepped up to share their stories. And tonight we're going to hear more of that. So we're excited about it. So Entrepreneurship Speaker Series, Week 6. Tonight we're going to talk about innovation. We've got the folks from ASU. They're going to speak a little bit. And this woman who's going to speak tonight, her name is Sarah. She posted something on Instagram today that I want to share with you that I thought was really special because I don't know her. And being here tonight, I'm excited to get to know her, but said, "What do you bring to the table?" I brought the table. I loved every part of that because I feel like in this community, in any community, people are being judged for, hey, what can you bring to the table? But that's a part of entrepreneurship, is saying, you know what, let's do it ourselves. I'm going to bring my own table and I'm going to get here to speak up. So I thought that was really cool for not knowing who she is or too much about what she does. That post said a lot about the work she's doing, and we're going to hear from her tonight. So without further ado, let's get to our first speaker tonight. We got Charlie Lewis, Senior Vice President of Venture Development and Physical Sciences at ASU's really creative Skysong Innovation Center. Charlie, take it away.
Okay, are we wired? Hearing, seeing? Yes. How many, let's see, there we go. Yep, right here, within this. How many current or would-be entrepreneurs, this is only going to be for our in-person crowd here, do we have in the audience? This group. All right. How many of you, to get to whatever point you are in your journey, has it taken longer and cost more money than you thought it was going to take? Yeah. How many of you, if you had it to do all over again, would have chosen a different career path? I love that. Not a single person. That is showing the true character, the true mettle of an entrepreneur, because I think you guys can all attest to the fact it's not for the faint of heart. It's hard. Statistically in the US, 90% of new startups fail in the first 5 years. Think about that statistic, 90%. The 3 top reasons for failure: undercapitalization, mismanagement, and not a clear sort of business model and direction as to what the product is, who their target market is, getting it out. If you were to rank order those 3, which one would you say that venture capitalists, when they're considering an investment, pay most attention to? Just here in the group. Third one? Second one? Management? Did you say 3, Jason? So interestingly, it's management. I hear this over and over again, dealing with the venture funds that I deal with through the university, which is they got to love the product, They got to believe that there's a market solving a real problem. But if they don't have the confidence in the team, in the CEO, that they can get it across the finish line, they're not doing the deal, no matter how much they like the product or like the technology. So they start with making sure they're buying in to the passion, the drive, the stick-to-itiveness of the CEO. So I'm glad that nobody in here said they would choose another career path, because that's sticking with it. So I've been at the university for, it'll be 18 years in 2 weeks. I was in venture capital before that. I was with 2 venture capital funds. And I can tell you, it's a lot better being on that side of the table where you're making the investments as opposed to going out and raising money. Because I've been on the other side of the table. When I actually graduated from ASU a couple decades ago, and 3 decades ago. And it was like just assumed that when you graduate, you go to work for somebody else. Entrepreneurship was like a bad word. Now it's celebrated everywhere, right? Universities all over. You can get training, lean startup, business model canvas, classes online. I mean, there's so much. You get degrees in entrepreneurship all over the country. So it's been transformative. I was still suckered into doing a startup literally day one out of school. Wet behind the ears. We really had no business being in business because we were just clueless. We all graduated from with computer science degrees. And I had a good job offer from General Dynamics out in San Diego, and I was convinced I was going to take this job offer. And these 2 buddies of mine said, "Oh, come on, let's do a software company, and we can kill it, and this is, So anyways, I thought, well, heck, I'll give it a shot. And I turned down that offer. We did it. And we literally lived below the poverty line for 4 years. And I mean, like way beyond. If we made 7,000-8,000 in a year at that time, it was like, that was huge. I mean, it was bad. I still was living at home with my parents, until I was 25, which was really hard in the romance department and the dating life. So, first date, I would have to bring them home to, meet my parents, which was a little weird, right? Like, why are you introducing me to your parents in the first date? But that was just what I had to do. And but we ended up getting a contract with a national franchisor. It was a point of sale system. They had 300 franchisees around the country in our 5th year. And all of a sudden, we were making money. I mean, we were installing all over the country, and it was like, this is unbelievable. You look back and you go, yeah, all that incredible pain for 4 years was then worth it. So wherever you guys are in the journey, just stick with it. And I'm really just here to try to give a few pointers in direction of prep for going out and as you embark upon your capital raising capital. If you're very fortunate that you can move your business forward with your own money, friends and family money, fantastic. But that's a very slim minority who can do that. Typically, you got to go out and raise capital. If you got to raise capital, you got to be able to present your company in a light and in a manner that makes it compelling to your prospective investors. So I'm just going to cover a couple of documents that I think can help you, and everybody online is welcome to these as well to use as a template. It's going to be a pitch deck, which your pitch deck should never be more than 10 slides, 8, 9, 10 slides. We're going to cover it. When you get those decks, people doing the 15, 20 slides, it's death by PowerPoint, just having to sit through and look at those. And I'll tell you the things you never want to do in a PowerPoint and the things that you want to do. We'll cover that in a second. And then we're going to go over a executive summary template, which again, very simple. You want to have a couple pages. I'm going to show you an actual example, and you're welcome to that template as well. To always have those in your toolbox when you're out ready to go raise the cheddar, which Sarah's going to tell you how to do that after we're done. So we can get going here. So again, this is a 9-slide deck, I think. So venture, first slide, you'll see just name, logo, nothing fancy on the first thing, the problem. So right up front, you've got to be able to convince. And anytime you're doing a pitch, you got to have the glasses on and the cap of the investor. You can't be so enamored with what you're selling that you're drinking your own Kool-Aid and thinking that they're just going to love it because you love it. You got to be thinking about, why would someone invest or not invest? Why they're going to invest? They want to know you're solving a real problem. So you got to be able to explain it, communicate to them that this is a real problem, and not just because you think it's a problem. You want to be able to have it supported by data through whatever means, through interviewing, through statistical, quantitative data, whatever it is. You got to be able to demonstrate that you are solving a problem. Okay. Real life stories is always a nice thing to do if you can as well, explaining how the problem has impacted people, whatever, families, whatever your product is. And then you're going to move right into your solution. So they got to be able to make that quick correlation between problem and solution. And the solution can't be stressed enough. It's got to be in non-technical terms. So whatever your products are, some of them are much easier to explain than software, hardware kinds of things. But you never want to lose somebody by getting over technical. So very simple explanation of your solution. How is it going to be commercially advantageous over the competitors who have similar products? What's the competitive differentiation? Why is your application of technology create potential sustainable competitive advantage? So you want to, again, get that on the slide. Now, the worst, and this is what I said earlier, the mistakes that you make, the absolute worst thing that you can do in a deck is to have it cluttered with a lot of text, talking about in sentence narrative kind of format, which is so insulting to anybody who's looking at it, because you if possible, you want to try to avoid having to give a deck to somebody through email where you're not there to use the deck just as a reference point as you're doing your presentation. The exec summary, which we're going to cover, is something that you can send out, because that just gives a quick overview of the company. But the deck, you want to be there. And on the deck, you just want to have kind of key things, bullets, and you're supplementing that with your own narrative as you're talking about it. You don't want to have somebody trying to read what's on there and tuning you out. You just want it to be like a little teaser on each slide. So sizing the market, you got to show them your market, who you're targeting, how's it trending. If you're not in revenue, or how's the market trending, sizing the market, who will be your first customer if you're not already in revenue, how are you going to be able to penetrate that market, how are you going to go to market, direct, indirect channels, direct sales teams or distributors, retail, whatever. Competitive advantage, again, we talked about this, I mentioned earlier, but typically you see kind of a matrix slide where you've got the different competitors and how, I'm sure you've all seen it, and how your features check all the boxes and the competitors don't. So you want to be able to show your potential investor that you know your competitors, why your product's better, and how you're going to beat them out in the market. Business model, how are you going to make money? So that's always a big thing, is you got to be able to show that there's demand for your product, market for your product, and whatever it costs you to produce that product is less than what you can sell it for. That's the definition of gross profit. Then you got to be able to, not only do you have to show that, then you got to be able to show, okay, here's how I'm going to move that product, sell that product, and scale that business. And it doesn't matter what your product is. It could be a bar, you're selling beer, let's say you've got a private label beer and you sell it at your own bar. You got to be able to show how much that can of beer costs, or that pint of beer costs, however you sell it, what it costs you, how much you can sell it, and how you're going to scale it. I mean, it applies to every product, every service that's out there as well. The team, as I said earlier, team's super important. to be able to show that you have the street cred and, the moxie, people who have preferably done it before. It's always risky, first-time entrepreneurs. I'm just telling you, if this is your first gig, you need to surround yourself with people who have done it before. So either at the board level, advisory level, whatever, and those are people from an optics standpoint that you can use in your deck to be able to show that you have people surrounding you, advising you, mentoring you, that would offset the fact if you haven't done it yourself successfully before. If you're a first-time entrepreneur and you don't have those kinds of people involved with you in your company, it's a big red flag for potential investors. ROI, excuse me, ROI is just you need to show use of funds, how much you're raising. Pro forma is pretty typical, 5-year pro forma. You've all seen them. What your plans are for exiting. People always don't say IPO, and IPOs hardly ever happen. Just, it's our exit for you as the investor would be a acquisition by whatever date you're targeting. And here are some potential prospects that we believe would want to acquire us based on our success out in the market. Summary is your last thing. Close with passion for the opportunity to reinforce your excitement, the fact that you know them, you know the market, you know your competition, why you have competitive advantage, and that's it. So you want to keep it, again, 9 slides. You guys can keep this deck. There's nothing magical about it. And you want to keep your presentation no longer than like 10 minutes. Seriously, because when it goes beyond that, then you start losing people. You want to keep them engaged, excited, finished, and you want to get them talking, asking questions after you're done. Okay. Now we need our other template that I'm going to quickly cover on the exec summary, hopefully.
Just talk to us a little bit about what got you to ASU Skysong. We're going to do a Q&A in a little bit.
Yeah.
But talk about the power of having something like Skysong here in the Valley. Like, how many communities have something like that?
Well, I would, it is kind of rare. And I would encourage all of you, if you're not familiar with Skysong, which is at the corner of Scottsdale and McDowell, there's a co-working space there. It's in building number 1. It's called 1951 at Skysong. And that's which goes back, that's when City of Scottsdale became a city. But it doesn't cost anything. You can go in there and there's co-working space. You sign up. It's a way to sort of get access to conference rooms. You can hold meetings there, and it's all for community support of entrepreneurship. So it is a unique program because not only that, but you can tap into Venture Devils, which is a resource of mentors at ASU that they can pair you up. So there's a wealth of resource, both physical space as well as intellectual capital.
Now I know there's some devils in the room, but
Yeah.
do you have to be a Sun Devil to tap into those resources?
Nope.
Even more powerful. We've been here at CEI now for this is week 6. There's a big event going on outside of other entrepreneurs, but talk about this community of entrepreneurs. Pre-pandemic, or maybe 5 years ago, we saw it was just had to be in Silicon Valley.
Yep.
But you don't have to be in Silicon Valley anymore now because of the pandemic. You can do entrepreneurship anywhere. So you can start a tech company. You can start a crypto company. Talk about how our community of startups is gaining a lot of full steam, and Phoenix is looked at as a leader in the country for startups.
Will it look weird if I step out and you're talking to no one?
Not at all. No, I talk to no one half my day. This is perfect.
All
I'm
right,
talking to nobody right now. This is great. Yeah.
We found the missing
Cool.
exec summary.
Awesome. So the community. Talk about how Phoenix is a community leader now across the country for startups.
No, it is so true that there's been tremendous support at key levels, which would be governmental, through the Arizona Commerce Authority is just one example, but funded through the governor's office that provides tremendous resources, connection. That's Venture Madness is a big piece that's just out here. There's support that comes at the academic university level and at the funding level. So angel groups now in town. We actually run one. When you guys are ready, you don't have to be an ASU startup. It's called Invest U. You can look at it online, invest in the letter U. And that's quarterly meeting. You can apply. We have 90 some people there. We've over $2 million has now been invested through that. So I think it's all part of the, proverbial ecosystem, but it takes people, it takes entrepreneurs, people who've been through it, kind of give time back. So yeah, great.
Awesome.
Yeah. How much time do we have? I'm going to wrap it up quick.
Cool.
But I did want to go over this because this is,
Just scroll down.
Yeah, I want to go over this really quick because this is important. Is to have an exec summary that you can send out, and it's kind of forces you to really go through and answer some critical questions to your business. As you see, first the business overview, and again, this is why it's so critical. It forces you to literally make sure every word that you have in there is relevant. There's no fluff because you don't have the space for it. This whole thing is going to be in a couple of pages. So you see the questions. I'm not going to go through each of these. This is a great, quick snapshot thing that you want to be able to list that somebody is going to take a quick look at, and they're going to go, okay, here's the manager. Do they have the board, prospective customer, blah, blah, blah. That's great, focal point. Then you get into this company, 3 to 5 sentences. Again, it's almost like your elevator pitch. You want to be able to, you have to be able to describe the company in this section. And then you get into market opportunity. You see a lot of the stuff we talked about. Much of the deck is applicable here. This is what forces you to really condense it into something that somebody can quickly look at. People don't read 20, 30-page business plans anymore. It's right. It's simple. It's fast. They don't have time. This has got to pique their interest. Okay. And then solution proposition. We talked about this before. And we can keep going down. Yeah, there we go. Marketplace competition, same thing. You see the questions. This gets a little bit more granular than what we covered in the deck, but you can go through those. Sales strategy, how you get into market, management team we talked about, 5-year pro forma we talked about. You see kind of the things that you need to populate on this, and then questions to help you with it, and then the investment opportunity, which is how much are you raising, how much equity are you selling in the company, what are the terms of it, the use of funds, and that's it. And that's what you can use once you've got this. And I'm telling you, this is not a 1 hour, 2 hour exercise. This goes through numerous iterations, and it can take, it takes a while. I mean, you could spend, 20, 40 hours on this thing because you want to get other people looking at it, reading it. But once you've got it, you got it. And you can get a lot of mileage out of it. And it's something you got to have if you're out raising money. And now Sarah's going to tell you where all the cheddar is.
Awesome.
So, yeah. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you, sir. As we continue to learn about this, I even in our room here of, 15, 20 socially distanced individuals that have joined us here tonight, it's really cool to continue to hear best practices of how this community is helping itself grow. We heard the story about State 48. I wish I was there when the $500 was shared in the garage, because now it's easy to say like, hey, I'm good for $500, but I didn't have to live through that struggle of Mike's 1-car garage and then figuring out where to stack shirts. But we look at State 48 now as a brand and say, man, I wish I would have invested in that. With that, we look at some of my favorite small businesses. This weekend, I'm going to go grab tacos at Diego Pops. It was National Taco Day this week, so I'm going to celebrate this weekend with a taco. Even being there the day that they took that old pottery business and turned it into a taco shop, I had no idea what they were thinking, and now it's thriving. But we always forget when we see thriving small businesses that there are points of weakness where an entrepreneurship took that leap and chose to potentially struggle and potentially lose everything. And I think that's to be applauded. And when we think about this deck of the executive summary and pitching somebody this idea, there's another small Bird Gang Travel. It was the day that the Cardinals lost to the Carolina Panthers in Carolina. And it was a Monday, and we were delayed. He had an idea about how to make more travel plans for Cardinal fans. It's turned into post-COVID, though. He struggled through COVID. His whole business was traveling to see sporting events. You look at small businesses like this that took a leap on one idea, and they had to figure it out, and they have. And as you put together your deck, don't forget there are people in this room. There are people in the State 48 community, and then there's also our next speaker. I told you about that Instagram post that she shared, which really opened my eyes to what she does. And I think that says a lot about the current place we're in right now when it comes to marketing. You can live your brand on your social media every day. And the more I dug through Instagram and I did listen, don't judge me for doing an Instagram creep, because you've gone a little bit down a little bit. And I did like a couple photos because I saw some people that I recognize. So I'm going to admit to that. But she had Ann Myers Drysdale, who's one of the most amazing women, one of the most amazing leaders when it comes to sports, when it comes to leadership, who lives here. She's awesome. And she had her on her podcast. How awesome is that? She works with Cynthia Sassy, who State 48's worked with as well. And, as we talk about Cynthia Sassy and, what she does, this is a good plug to EIC. Dustin Trout, he is the CEO of EIC. They're one of our partners here. They're one of our sponsors of all of this. Dustin and I went to Phoenix College 2005 to 2007. He played on the baseball team. I don't know if he played. I wasn't really good friends with him then, but I knew of him. We had a couple classes, but here we are 15 years later, and Dustin Trout is now the CEO of EIC. They're incredible partners of State 48. They got this really cool podcast, Rise, Grind, Repeat. They invite you on their podcast. Doesn't cost you anything. They do all of the marketing material for you, and then you get to keep the marketing material. So I would encourage you to reach out to the folks at EIC. Dustin, thank you for believing in the Entrepreneurship Speaker Series. Thank you for having your team here, Tim. Shout out to you. Shout out to everyone at EIC for believing in State 48 and what we're doing at the for-profit and the nonprofit. Now that I've given everyone else love, let's go ahead and give some love to Sarah Benken, our next speaker, and she's going to share a little bit about some resources she can provide as well.
Awesome. Well, wow. Instagram stalker. What's up with that? I ain't complaining. I need those followers. Okay, so I am excited to share today because this is my jam. Like business ownership, bootstrapping, identifying resources, leveraging your network for success and profits. Like that's what we're talking about. And I am beyond excited. So when the invite came out, it was like an absolute hell yes for me. So before I get started, this is what I want to say. Let's just acknowledge where we are. Business ownership is hard. Get an amen for that, please. Yeah, my whole crowd here, amen. I'm sure online you're also agreeing. Business ownership is going to be one of the hardest things that you are going to tackle in your entire life. Why? Because it's a journey and it always changes. It never stays the same. We are making decisions. We're growing. We're stretching. We're whatever it is that we are doing. It is tough. But here's what I want to say. So if you are tuning in tonight, you deserve a round of applause for yourself. Okay? Whether you're early stage, you're aspiring, you are still percolating on that passion project, you are making moves that others only dream of. You're taking steps, you're propelling ahead. And I'm kicking these shoes off. So let's get ready. I saw Charlie take his jacket off early, so we're just gonna get dirty. Okay, all right, today I am talking about the secrets on how to build your business without any outside funding. So Charlie, you killed it. I appreciate you. You're setting me up because we've learned so much. And you know what? I do wanna say one thing before I start. I did not know about this co-working space. Yeah, that might have changed my office decisions because free.
Price is right.
Hey, the price is right. Free. So let's all take advantage of that. All right. So tonight, my talk is for my bootstrappers, my self-funders, the people who are reinvesting their profits to provide steady cash flow to grow your business. Here's what we're going to cover. How to make crucial business connections, how to leverage your network and grow your business. It's something that I've been doing over the last 14 years. It's a model. It works. Let's go. Follow along. So there's me. My favorite position is CEO. For 14 years, I am a CEO. I am a founder. And I'm also like a self-proclaimed hype girl. I'm not a coach. I just geek out over this stuff. So over the last 14 years, I've developed 2 brands. I've scaled one nationally and one globally. So I'm known for Lifestyle Management Co. It's in North Carolina based. If my twang comes out, you know where that comes from. I'm a North Carolina-based concierge company. We scaled that nationally 10 years ago. No women. We're an Arizona-based, Phoenix-based global media company and community for women. So that I brought the table. That's for my women who understand the struggle. Okay, today we're going to talk in two parts. I'm going to give you the secret on making crucial business connections, and then I want to teach you how to leverage those connections for big revenue. And I'm telling you, this works, so let's follow along. All right, number one, masterfully connecting. We have to learn how to masterfully, because this is a key word, masterfully connect. And the truth is, studies show that when we work together, we're united, we're collaborative, we are at our best. So that's why this connection is so key. I'm going to give you a couple quick tips, and then we're going to talk about leveraging. So number one, you have to go beyond the basic introduction. When you're meeting someone, it has to be more than business oriented. You have to create authentic connections with shared interests, shared goals. You have to get to know the people. Look at this chick. No more business card stabbing. She's smiling, but is she really? I mean, nobody really likes being shoved a business card in their face, right? And I would venture to say, COVID kind of slowed us down with in-person networking, but I would venture to say that in-person networking is lower because no one wants this. No one wants it. You're like, ooh, right? Look at her. She's not happy about that business card. Okay, people don't like that. Don't be a slimy salesperson. Create connections, create them authentically. Make connections a priority. Are you going to partner with someone who you don't know? No. People want to buy from people who they like, know, and trust. And as bootstrappers, we ain't got no money, y'all. So we have ourselves, we have our time, and we have our relationships. That's the key component, the relationships. Now, as you're going along this entrepreneurial journey of making connections and growing and fostering, you have to understand that the connections take time. And the truth is, if it were easy, we'd all be billionaires, but we're not. So we have to take the time that it takes to actually foster real connection. So in order to see the results, you got to create them being the connections. They have to be meaningful. They have to be authentic. You have to know like where the kids are playing soccer this weekend. You have to know what their spouses do. You have to know what their dreams and their goals are, etc. And that comes with nurturing these relationships. Develop them, check in on them, support them, and give to them. You probably heard it before. Give, ask. Give, ask. It's not ask, give. Like, you got to nurture these relationships. And here's a truth bomb for you. In your industry, no matter what industry you're in, you, my friend, are a dime a dozen. I'm going to tell you that again, truth bomb. No matter what industry you're in, no matter what you do, you are a dime a dozen. There are thousands of t-shirt makers. There are thousands of restaurant owners. Thousands of people doing what you are doing every single day. So, what sets you apart? It's in the relationships. It's in the people who are cheering for you. It's in the people who are supporting you. It's in the people that really want to see you win and have your back. And you won't have any of that if you don't focus on building those authentic connections. And when you're doing that, number 4, you got to build each other up. Like hype squad, right? Like honor hard work, honor dedication, honor loyalty. Now, I'm usually talking to women, so I brought in this little slide for my guys. Do a fist bump, like, hey, high five. If you're a girl, oh my God, you're slaying it. Whatever it is, give the compliment. It's gonna get you far, because you know what? Flattery gets you everywhere. Okay, so let's celebrate each other. Clap for wins. honor hard work because they bring referrals. I told you I'm like a hand, like very animated. Referrals can come from anywhere. So you gotta cheer for the people in your industry, outside of your industry, in, out your community. Just love on people. It will come back to you, I promise. And number 3, I didn't know Zach was on my Instagram today. Okay, so there are people watching when you don't even know that they're watching. You think that no one's looking at you, but they see you. So you gotta make sure you pay attention to that. Of course, once you've done all of these things, you're now leading up to leveraging the community you've been so busy building. And we're gonna go over that in just a second. We're gonna talk about how to leverage this community. But before we do that, I want to pose a question to my homies here and all of my homies that are tuning in virtually. I want you to answer this question, or we'll put it into a question. Do you agree or disagree? So much of your success has to do with your connections. Agree, right? So much, I hype myself up, you see. So much of your success has to do with your connections. God, I hope you said yes, and I hope you all agree, because the truth, another truth bomb, is your connections, your network, your community, how you leverage all of it is going to directly impact your level of success. And listen, I'm going to tell you straight up, if you want to move the needle, you want to see increase in your life, in your business, anywhere, you have to get over this mindset that it's going to passively come to you, because it's not. You know, this mindset, you heard this phrase, like, if you build it, they will come. I was going to say a cuss word, but I'm not. That is not true. Do not believe that. If you build it, they're not going to come. You got to go get it. Got to bring the table, right? Okay, so recap. We're going to go beyond the basic introduction. We're going to make connection building a top priority, but we're going to understand that it takes time to develop these relationships. And we're going to build each other up, because that is so critical. Then we're going to leverage that network to make that money. Your biggest impact is going to be seizing opportunities and making it happen. Literally, everything I've done in the last 14 years has been my community, leveraging it and doing it when it matters most. So what does this mean? How do I leverage my community? Where do I even start? Seek guidance. You want to go to your community with things that are not revenue related. Ask for advice. Ask for referrals too. Look into your community. Use them for counsel, advice, vendors, clients. Virtually anything I do comes from my network, and I literally have grown my business on connections and referrals. One valuable connection will change your entire trajectory. How do I know this? Because it's happened to me so many times. And hey, I was quoted in the Wall Street Journal for saying this, because I built connections that led me to the Wall Street Journal. So remember, everything is in the connection. And you also cannot be afraid to ask, because once you are strong in your community, you're developing these connections, you have to ask. But you cannot ask if you have not yet fostered, right? Now, for my early stage, my aspiring entrepreneurs, that can be really scary. I actually have a little workbook. If you want more information on the power of the ask, unfair advantage, etc., we're skipping this part, so get the workbook. Because we're going to talk about making the money, honey, right? Everybody wants to make the money. So 2 ways that you're going to leverage your network, and 2 ways that you can do this right now: partnerships and collaborations. We talked about collaborations already, right? Yeah, we know. Okay, partnerships, identifying ideal partners and creating plans. Your partners are not your competitors. They are people who have complementary services that host the same type of clientele. They do the heavy lifting for you. I love partnerships. Why? Because they do the heavy lifting for you. They literally do all the work of promoting your services alongside theirs. They're your outsourced partners. Think about a realtor and think about a house cleaner. A realtor is trying to sell a house. Therefore, she has to partner with a house cleaner to make the house shine, because a house will sell faster and it will be potentially a bigger ROI for her. Who can you partner with? You are a bonus to them. So keep in mind that you and what you do helps them close their deal. They want you, they need you, and all you have to do is perform and collect that money. All right, so this is what I love about partnerships. Heavy lift of promotion and their referrals or money flows back to you effortlessly as long as you are doing your work. Think about who you can partner with. Collaborations. We kind of touched on this already. Collaborations, identify ideal collaborations. And I'm sure my guys at State 48 will tell you how crucial it is to make sure you are collaborating with the right people. So a collaboration is where you and another person come together, you package your services, your products, etc., to create a brand new offer. So State 48, Sons, brand new t-shirt, collaboration. It seems to be working, so nice. All right, so together you're gonna promote this offer. This is a big thing. So with a partnership, the person is pushing you, hiring you. The collaboration is together, you and your collaborative partner are pushing together, i.e. branding package. Content writer, branding professional, collaborates with a branding photographer. Together, they create this brand new branding package that you can then purchase, and they're promoting all over their audiences and the public. Revenue share. Keep in mind that there's usually a revenue share here with collaborations because you're both gaining and you're both doing the work. So you're likely going to have to split the revenue. And the best part of collaborations is access to new clients. Why? Because you're promoting together. So you now have access to new people who have never heard of you that are following your collaborative partner, and vice versa. So more people to create and foster connections with. Big considerations here though. Collaborations are really, it's important that you kick off your collaborations on the right foot, because I have seen so many collaborations tank, fail, relationships divided, people unhappy. So the best thing you can do is plan and plan ahead. Determine the term and the date range. Make a short date range. If it goes well, do it again. You can do it again. Set the guidelines. Who's doing what? Who's providing? Who's promoting? What's the plan? Be clear on your goals and your offer, and set up the revenue share and the payment terms. That's it. Make sure that these things are worked out before you say yes. And I would venture to say, if it's a big deal, get the damn thing in writing. Yeah, everybody's like, yep. Okay, so whatever you do, I would suggest that you start with one, collaboration or partnership. What's the easiest way? The easiest barrier to entry. Figure it out. You can have multiple collaborations and partnerships running at the same time, but don't try to do everything at once. We get stuck as entrepreneurs, especially startups, that we want to do everything. Pick something, stick to it. As a visionary, I am guilty of this myself. And final recap before I pass it back. Don't shove business cards in people's face. Number one, okay? Don't start a relationship by asking them to do you a favor. That is tacky. They don't like that, right? Do ask how you can help them and be collaborative. Pay homage and respect to the person. Remember, flattery gets you everywhere. And send follow-up communication, because if you are the one that needs something, you're asking, do the work, please. Do the heavy lift. And if you're a woman, do attend our No Women Summit, October 22nd and 23rd at Savannah Resort. That's my plug. Sorry, I had to do it. Because you're going to get confidence and connection, and after attending the summit, it's going to be amazing. If you liked what you saw today, we have 175 women who are there to greet you and get in the room. And sorry, guys, not for you. All right. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I took a lot from that. Mainly, I live by the principle of give, 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 and also the connections part. I'll publicly say yet again, yes, I slid in State 48's DMs. That's how this all began. To this day, I want to formally say you're welcome, Mike. I was going to say I'm sorry, but you're actually really welcome. I send Mike a DM with a random 4 or 5 times a week. And I've kind of got to the point where I have an Excel spreadsheet that I send to Chloe. And I'm like, hey, here's the spreadsheet of all the DMs I've sent Mike this week of the random people that I think should connect with Mike in State 48. But look what it's become. And I think that says a lot about this marketplace. And that is our encouragement to each and every one of you and everyone in this room is that you're one DM away from somebody that's willing to say, you know what? A friend of this person said I should connect with you. Let's grab that coffee. And I told you the lesson in week 1. If you invite somebody to coffee, chances are they're buying your coffee. Life hack. So I'll share that with you again. I'm always in it for the coffee. I think that's a great way. My mantra is you should have coffee with anyone. And if somebody invites you to coffee, you're probably already going to have a coffee that day. So take that opportunity to share it with someone. That's my mantra. So Sarah, thank you so much for sharing that. I think you should do the anti-summit where it's not the woman summit, but it's like you giving it to a bunch of men because we're going to pay to hear from you and you're going to yell at all of us. And that was amazing. So please consider because I'm in for that summit. We're going to enter into the Q&A portion. So Sarah, I'd like to bring you back up. We'll have some questions from the audience. I've got some questions for you guys as well. But most importantly, yet again, EIC agency, thank you so much. And the Phoenix Biomedical Campus, you know, when this whole thing first started, we were going to do grants. We're thinking 2,000, 3,000. We really didn't know. We just wanted to get started and give. But because of all of you, because of all of this and our incredible partners, we're now giving away $10,000. I would like to speak on behalf of the board. I don't think any of us thought we'd get to a $10,000 gift to help amplify entrepreneurs, which just says a lot about Nicholas and Mike and our foundation board for coming together and believing in the vision of State 48 to continue to give. You know, in that part there, we talk about collaborations, and I love that. You know, you look at the shirt I'm wearing or EIC. If your company collaborates with State 48, you get to jump on the bandwagon of 100,000 Twitter followers, X amount of Facebook followers. That's where collaboration matters with State 48. But the cool part is when your brand collaborates with State 48 now, $1 of every shirt goes back to our foundation. And I can tell you firsthand that at my company, when we partnered with State 48 for this shirt, we put that in our press release because our company is about giving back to our community. And that's one more way you can say, like, we're working with a local brand because we're a local company, but we care about the mission of State 48. So again, it's almost as if we're going to do some incredible things together in this community. So make sure you follow back. Okay. So I'm going to walk back to the back of the room. Nick, let's go ahead and jump into some Q&As that we have from everybody online. Before we get to that, let's go ahead and start with walk us through, you talked about your journey. We asked earlier about this marketplace, but, being from North Carolina, coming to Phoenix, how is this community for you and what are you seeing?
We're going to share the mic. So I have been in Phoenix for almost 6 years. I came here because my better half came here for law school. I came here not knowing a soul. And that's part of the story of how No Women came about, because I didn't know anyone. I literally did not know anyone. And so for me, it's been a journey. But what I will say about this community, well, coming from North Carolina, geographically, I hated it. When I first landed, I was like, it's dirty, it's dusty. Where are the trees? It's, and then I got over that and met so many great people. This community, now I'm from North Carolina. I've lived in Raleigh and I've lived in Charlotte. And I will say that what they say about Southerners is not necessarily true. Our Phoenicians are way kinder and way more open than anyone I have ever met in North Carolina. So I am so proud, well, maybe my mom, but I am so proud to call this community home. So I love it.
Charlie, you were talking about what took you to ASU, and when you go into academia, you look at how some universities have people who just were, going to college, got their doctorate, and then just started teaching. You talked a little bit about your experience as an entrepreneur. Talk about how important that is that ASU at the campus has people that do have that kind of experience to give back.
Right. As I said, we were, entrepreneurship was a 4-letter word, bad word. It's like, are you kidding me? You're not going to go get a job working for whoever. And it is like 180 degrees opposite now. It's celebrated again, all the way even to a degree program. But I would encourage any of you, all of you, to partake in the services that you can get through the university, even not being a student there or paying tuition or anything. I mentioned one, which was the Venture Devils program. So if you just go online to ASU E+I, Entrepreneurship and Innovation, you'll see a menu of a suite of all the different kinds of services, and it's a ton of stuff that is free. So stuff Sarah said is so right on about collaborations. But if you can meet people who know people who know people, sometimes it's this windy path, like maybe how she ended up becoming a famous person being quoted in the Wall Street Journal. She didn't call it Wall Street Journal, but that's the kind of thing that can happen through like Venture Devils. You meet somebody who's like, oh yeah, well, I know so-and-so, and you need to talk to da-da-da. So anyways, the fact, if you're early in your entrepreneurial career or your path, take advantage of as many people as you can who have walked in your shoes before. And that's what's been assembled through this, through the E&I, through the Venture Devils program.
It's really special hearing both of you talk about the favorite 4-letter word of all the 4-letter words is free. And we all know free really matters. There is no such thing as free, yet you're both giving out free tools. And I like to say, as somebody that works for a company, I'm like, if my boss was like, hey, I got this thing for you, it's free. I'm like, okay, how many hours am I working on Saturday? Right? That's the natural inclination when you work for someone, is what's the catch? But you're both telling this room, everyone online, that there are free tools that both of you want to do is to see more people achieve their dream.
Nothing is free, I will say that. But here's the payback, though. ASU is a public university. It's at least partially funded by the state, paid by taxpayers in the state. It's been a decreasing amount over the year, but it's still is I don't know, it's around 20%, somewhere around there, is state taxpayer funded. So how does the state benefit from that kind of an investment to public university? Well, the way it benefits is when companies get launched, companies become job creators, employees, they're paying taxes, they're helping the brand of the state of Arizona, attracting entrepreneurs from other states, people that come here. So they're looking at, it is free for you guys, but the state's looking for a return from the public university standpoint. So it's an investment that they're making, saying we want to invest in providing these services to upcoming or up and coming entrepreneurs.
Well, we're going to turn over to anybody in the room that has a question here in a minute, but we got Monique online. And I love that you kind of brought up about, Sarah, free space to co-work in. And her question, I think, is going to lead to co-working spaces, especially as we're intra-pandemic or wherever mode we're in now. And even we saw a gathering outside of people getting together again. As people are kind of coming out of this pandemic and choosing to gather, Monique had a great question. She said, any suggestions on how to find places to network? What are good places that you know of at locally or places that you like? She's new to the area and she's just curious.
Is that what we're calling intra?
I'm not a doctor.
Intra-pandemic? I've been looking for the right word for a while.
Intra?
I know. Can we? Nah. I don't.
Interlude? I don't know, but I'm just rooting.
I'm going with it.
Yeah, where we're at now, it's people. We're gathering again. We're doing this, and we're gonna get past this, and we're gonna do this in person. And Mike's had an incredible vision for what this can become.
Yeah.
This has already surpassed the entire board. Look what we're doing. But things that you know of that you'd love to share.
People want to get back together. And at the Know Women, we are a high achieving female networking community. We're a group. We actually host events. So Monique, hit me up. You can come to an event with me anytime you want. I mentioned we have a summit coming in October. So if you want to get in the room and you want to learn some really cool things and be inspired, come see us at the summit. But things are starting to come back together again. I'm seeing lots of gatherings, small gatherings like this, but then even open doors. We're going to be hosting something in November. So any woman's, again, sorry guys, any woman, Zach's like, sorry, it's okay. Any woman that wants to join me, just send us a note, hello@theknowwomen.com. And I would love to loop you in. And I would love to, I know Sarah's here in the audience and she's part of Know, and I know she's amazing and would love to like high five you, fist bump you, or tell you that you're doing really great too.
Here in the audience.
First of all, thank you both for your presentations. Really good advice and very interesting. And Sarah, this is probably more for you, but so my company's only a couple years old and I'm having a little bit of trouble focusing on what opportunities to take advantage of. It seems like they're around every corner. And then just if you have any advice, how do you narrow down the best opportunities and see which ones to follow up on when they can just scatter you a million different ways? Thank you.
This is going to be such a female energy statement. Intuition is everything. Every decision that I make, I look at my mission and what I'm standing for, and does it fit? Number one, if it does it feel good? And here's what I love to say. If it's not 100% hell yes, it is an absolute no. So that's what you can do. Measure every opportunity, everything that comes your way. Like we said, like it's really easy to get excited, right? About all the things that you could do. But where do you start? Start with a measure of, is it within my mission? Is it within my goals? Or is it not? And if it's not, then it's a simple no. But here's another thing I would say, like when you do that, it's a red, it's a no, not now. It doesn't mean no forever. If it's a green, go. If it's yellow, wait. Just wait until you know for sure. And that will help you kind of guide what to do.
Hello. Thank you guys for sharing. Yeah, it's been really valuable information. My question is, for somebody who's looking to expand their business and looking for capital, do you have any maybe ways or ideas of being able to get funding without having to maybe give a part of give equity of your business?
Yeah, yeah, you're referring to a category non-dilutive funding, and non-dilutive means you're not raising equity capital, where you're selling part of the company for whatever cash is coming in. There are a number of different ways to pursue that, all the way from the federal level, which would be like SBIR grants that you can apply for. There's, depending upon your product, there are usually association groups and different companies that cater to people within that particular sector. Oftentimes there's grant money available. There's competitions, which is a big one, raising money here in the state. There's a number of, yeah, exactly. ACA. I would encourage all of you to go online if you're not familiar with the Arizona Commerce Authority. There for events, for networking. The question that was online. It's a great place. There's a company that I'm on the board of that went through the semi-annual. They do it twice a year. of the venture challenge got $150,000, and it was a grant. It was no equity, but again, it's for economic development. The Arizona Commerce Authority money comes from the state, from the governor's office. So yeah, they're out there now. You're obviously, it's a competitive kind of thing, but I would learn as much. What's your company? What are you doing? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, novel. I mean, great idea. I can't think of any off the top of my head of groups that would be catering to that, where there would be grant money directly available, but certainly novel idea. So you're certainly a candidate for competitive, prize money in competitions for sure. So again, I would start at Commerce Authority. Go to their website, and you can see the different programs that are available that you can get funding in. But again, it's always keep in mind it's better to have a smaller piece of a bigger pie than the whole pie yourself if the pie isn't worth anything. And if that means you do have to sell a little bit of equity to to further the business, it's better to have 90% of something that's, or 80%, whatever it is, than 100% of something if you can't move it forward. Yeah.
This question's also for you, Charlie, as well. I can't be the only one that's tired of working at home. Can you explain a little bit more about the co-working space?
Oh yeah, happy to. It's about 7,000 square feet. You can go over there and you can get a tour. It's in Building 1 at Skysong, which is right on the corner. It's on the southeast corner of Scottsdale and McDowell. Ground floor, and it's got partitioned areas that the university sometimes uses for events, big events, but that's usually in the evening. And when it's not being used, there's all these sort of really cool working places that you plug into internet. They've got really neat a little kind of two-person meeting things with paper on it that you can draw out ideas and brainstorm and rip off the paper, take it with you. Conference room I mentioned earlier, video conferencing, so you can do Zoom stuff as well as video conferencing. But nice projector camera, a lot of really neat art. It's got a real hip vibe to it. All the stuff inside was donated by Pollock, a big strip center guy here in town, a gazillionaire, and it's so really neat. It's just a great place, and you just had a mailing address. So if you don't want to use your home to make it look like you got a real business, you can use it as a mailing address. Check it out. Go online again. You can find it online. 1951 at Skysong.
Hey, I'm moving in.
Yeah.
Get ready. I'm moving in.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing, doesn't it?
Again, thank you guys both for being here. We actually are in one of those Pollock properties as State 48, so that's pretty funny. Also, apologies to everyone for the technical difficulty, and also huge thank you to Jana for helping out with that technical difficulty, who's been dealing with all of the tech for this whole series. I do have a quick question, Sarah, for someone who may already use that business card technique that you don't care for, what remedies do you have to go about fixing that problem? Or what you were saying is a problem, I should say.
Okay, so maybe you don't agree with me that business card stabbing is a problem. So, I'll be honest with you, I don't even have business cards anymore. Right? With this day and age of social connecting, like, what's your Insta handle? How do I find you on LinkedIn? And then it takes that aggressive stab out of the picture. So that might be the easiest way to solve that. Get to know them. So clearly you're not going to, like, in a 30-second quick connection, speed networking situation, get to learn all about their families and who they are and what they do. But, I think it's that give, like, hey, who are you? I really want to get to know you, not what I can do for you. Let me tell you about my air conditioning services and why you need to buy them. Here's my card. No, what do you do? So tell me, we're both here in this space. Clearly you're here looking for something. What are you looking for? Oh, really? That's so cool. You know what? I have this cool air conditioning company, and I keep your home cool in the summer. I would love to connect with you. Are you interested? Hey, do you have a card that I could snag from you? If not, what's your Insta handle? It's really just thinking outside of the box and making it more of a conversation. Right. And there are going to be times when you're in the room, you're in more of a traditional networking style event where it's like, hey, pass your card to the left and everybody grab one. That's a little bit different. But the whole thing is to avoid like the slimy sales techniques, because nobody likes those.
We're going to be friends. And I'm just telling you that right now. I can't say enough about everything. I'm regurgitating everything you've said tonight. To everyone at home, I hope you guys got a lot out of this. I think the one thing I took from that last thing is you really need to participate in today's marketplace. The business card is dead. And I learned more about you by checking on your Insta than your business card ever would have told me. But also you live your brand, and I applaud you for that. But that's also why you're here. The questions in the room, I applaud you because by participating in this room, we now you have an awesome idea. I love that idea. But that also comes back to something Sarah said is, if I'm not going to add any equity, why would you give? I think your idea is great. I'll give you $5,000 today. But what do I bring to your table? I'm going to bring my own table, and it's going to be, I'm going to hype you up so much. But is that enough to give you 5,000? And what do we ask for? 20%? We're going to be sharks for a minute. 20%? I don't know. He only did one. I don't know, but let's help him do the second one. Those are the things you're going to ask. I'm in. We're takeover. Already taken over. But you can see, like, I get fired up because those of you that are in this room and you're helping people do something that I don't do every day. I think it's awesome. Your idea is great. And I'm going to champion you as much as I can. My favorite food is spaghetti. I cannot wait to come to your grand opening. It's the best. But that's what I'm learning through this is there are amazing people in this community every day taking the biggest leap of faith. And at State 48 Foundation, our partners, all of us in this ecosystem, we're here to support you and your vision and your dream. And that starts with $10,000. So you want to know what you can do? You're participating. You're giving yourself a chance to be a part of this foundation's money. So are you. So is everyone at home. I'm fired up. And that's why we're going to be really fired up. And you're all in trouble because we're coming to help you. And that's awesome. So yes, fire us up more.
Hey, can I raise the pot a little bit?
Nicholas.
I would love to offer something here too, because I am so fired up about the entrepreneurial journey and growth. And I did not have this planned. I'm just excited. I want to donate some money to this fund specifically from the No Women. We actually launched our own nonprofit last year, which I'm super excited about, and it's for women, but I want to open this up for anyone. So I want to give you another like $2,500 if someone wants to match that. We'll just take it up and
awesome.
And the No Women will do it. See how excited I'm excited. Let's do this damn thing.
Go. Listen, you don't even have to follow back anymore. So just know that like you just got fine. But yeah,
tell me where to send the check.
Deal.
It's done.
Deal. And that's a part of this is these are partners. Now we're going to find ways to amplify your event in 2 weeks. Really excited for you. Really excited for everyone at home. And again, you're participating. You're taking the time out of your busy lives to take time to get these tools, to listen to speakers. You don't know what you're going to get. I got a lot out of this, and I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm just a hype man. But I'm so excited to be part of State 48 Foundation. So Charlie, Sarah, thank you so much for giving your time, your talents, your treasures. Charlie, again, tell us how we can get in touch with you. What's the best way?
You can online or LinkedIn is probably the easiest. Yeah, just Charlie Lewis and put ASU and it'll come up. This is fantastic. All sort of classic entrepreneur poster child. This is people come from out of state. This all helps in growing the scene, and we're already well down the road. You hear about Silicon Valley, but there's places, there's pockets, there's Austin, Texas, is like major now. And you know, so you see these other places. It's not all about just East Coast, West Coast, and there's a great entrepreneurial culture here. I didn't mention this, but we've launched, since I've been there, we've launched 180, we track this religiously, 184 startups, which is what I do at the university, and 987 million, we're almost at $1 billion of investment funding that's gone into those companies. Now, it's the 90-10% rule, right? Where 90% of that money has gone into 10% of those 180 companies. But the point is, companies are raising money, and significant money is coming from out of state. So it's not like the money has to come and say, if you have the right product, the right management team, the money will flow. It will attract money. It doesn't have to be local. And I'm happy to help get you guys connected to whatever.
And again, Sarah, tell us how we can be in touch with you. Best ways. What are the handles?
Handle at the know, and it's not NO, it's KNOW, women to know and do business with. So at the Know Women on Insta, on Facebook. We have a free Facebook group. So if you are a female and you want to connect with us for free advice, inspo, whatever, you don't have to be local. We are global. Connect with us on Facebook. And personally, Sarah Benken, LinkedIn works. And again, I gave out the email address, which I actually still monitor. Hello at theknowwomen.com. So yeah, hit us up if you want to connect.
Awesome. Again, all the entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, everyone at home, everyone in the room. This is week 6. We got one more left next week. So please, same time, same channel. We're excited to see you guys next week. Mike, Spank, Nicholas, everyone on the foundation board. Thank you guys so much for supporting this. Until next week, thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. Go Mercury, go Cardinals, go Devils.